Okay. Trying a new format. Let's see how this goes. The Pressure That Never Leaves by I Am the Answer, read by Sunset Radio. Summary. Sebastian Solis, a man who was a barista at a cafe, sprouts a sharp tongue, was mean to those he didn't know, and was gentle to those he did, has caught the heart of the freak circus. Many years before he was accused of murder. Now he has a vague memory of what seems to have happened a lifetime ago, and he's not human anymore, so at least he's got that going for him now. Notes. Basically, I don't think Pressure gets the love it deserves, and now I'm using it here. This has literally been festering in my brain for a while. Edit. These first few chapters are the first I've written in a while. I'm fixing them, but the last chapters are things I am actually kind of proud of. Chapter 1. Summary. Author's note. Fudge monkeys. Hi, pups. Okay, anyways, sorry. When the Pierrot had first met him, he had been shoved to the ground, the random humans jeering at him from all angles. Keep to himself, that was the rule he always abided by. Don't expect anything from beings incapable of kindness. But then he changed that. He had put himself between the Pierrot and the cruel figures that surrounded him. Hey, fuck off, he yelled. I'll call the cops for assault if you touch him again. There was strings of curses and ill-tempered manners thrown into the mix, making the cruel humans take a step back. That's when the circus performer really saw him. His tanned skin complemented his raven hair, and when he turned around to make sure the performer was all right after his long charade. Wow, that was a weird word. His warm brown eyes. Long charade, his warm brown eyes. What in the frigates? It marveled the Pierrot how this human could warm his eyes from their stormy expression so quickly. Oh, just for him. It made the butterflies in his stomach flutter. Oh, the man had remarked quietly, taking something out of his pocket, grimacing at it when he finally looked down at whatever was in his hand. This is a Band-Aid. I only have a pink one, sorry about that. Here, let me. The performer nodded, staying silent even as he felt the man's fingers brush against his cheek. Was this what love was? There we go. There we go, he said with finality. Wow. Pulling back. If it keeps hurting, go to the doctor, okay? Sorry, I can't stick around. I'm late for work. So stay safe, all right, big guy? The circus performer had half a mind to follow his hand, leaning into him, but decided against it. He didn't want to spook him. The man pulled the Pierrot up to his feet and waved him goodbye as he hurried out of the alleyway. He wanted to follow that man. The sun took the sun to his night, the very embodiment of everything he had ever wanted in his life, and take him, to love him. After all, that was what that was, right? A show of attraction, a show of love, and oh, how he craved him. He spent the first days tailing after him and getting closer to him, all the while trying to keep the Harley Quinn from picking up his scent. There were moments where he sometimes lashed out for no reason, out of nervousness, causing the green one to realize something was up. Curse these insidious emotions. Ultimately, he failed in the end. At first, he was terrified. The Pierrot saw his human with something he had to Pierrot saw his human as something he had to cherish, something soft and fragile, nothing like the others who roamed the streets, who laughed and jeered whenever they saw something slightly out of the norm. But much to his surprise, his human took it in stride. He shot venom-filled remarks back at the green performer every time they bantered. He was amazed as he watched the performer falter at times, caught in a trap of his own making because of his little son. In a way, it comforted him, soothed the inner fear that he wouldn't be able to fit in with the circus, even if it was with Harley Quinn. He remembered how he marked him for the first time with his impossibly sharp teeth. It was sometime after he found out that Harley Quinn, out of all people, he got to him before Pierrot did. It infuriated him at the time, but when his little son offered his neck to him, he could never stay angry. In fact, he was so ecstatic that the rest of his day became a blur of red and pink. Even now, he remembered how his mouth watered and his teeth inched as he carefully sunk his teeth into his neck. How he wanted to go deeper, to make him his. Oh, how had he survived this long without him? The entire time, however, there was a voice in the back of his head telling him that if he truly loved him, he'd let him go. Let him be with his kind so he would be safe. But that would mean leaving him, and he would never leave him. Eventually, his little human got tangled in the web that made up the freak circus, catching the attention of everyone there. It was absolute chaos. Most of the time, the others thought of only ending him and eating him themselves. The Pierrot, for the first time in a while, started fretting over the what-ifs. What if Sebastian wanted to leave? What if he learned what they were? What if one of the others killed him, tore into him, and ripped him apart like they did with her? Sorry, really dry throat. But like everything he did, he surprised him. He made himself a space for himself in the circus, filling something they didn't even realize was missing. He was a resilient one, Pierrot and the others often said to describe their human. Against their better judgment, they unintentionally gave them their little son, glimpses of who they truly were. So what they... saw a different word there. Of what they did and why people went missing when their circus came to town. It agonized him to end as he saw his expression shift to something akin to terror when he had first caught them. When the 5 of them forgot about his visit, and tore into a woman's body like it was the last morsel on earth. And yet, he didn't run. That's why it hurt so much during their last day in town when they gave him an offer. Gave him an offer to be a part of the circus and to travel with them. I can't, he relented, feeling their gaze bore into him, begging him to come with them in their own enduring ways. I feel like that was supposed to be adoring, but my family is here. I can't just leave them behind. I'm their big brother. They need me in their lives. They reeled at that gesture. Out of all of them understood the importance of family, but even then the loss of him would be like leaving a piece of them behind. He convinced them that if they come the next year, he would consider leaving with them when his siblings were older. In return, he would wear a ring they had gotten for him, a simple golden band with the initials of all the circus members engraved on the inside of the ring. It was something he graciously accepted. Even if they left, they made sure to visit him one more time. The moment we get back, Ticket Taker had begun, you will be brought back to us. The others agreed, and even their little son, who was all spitfire and passion, somberly agreed. And thus they made the biggest mistake of their life, leaving. Just as promised, they came back a year later on the dot. Like every other time, they set up their little circus. Shoesers. I said shoesers. Clarification on that. I'm gonna have to cut this in half. Well, this is the end of part 1, chapter 1. There will be a part 2. Sadly enough, I have to leave in a hot minute. Have a great day.